Epiphany, an intuitive grasp of reality through something, such as an event, usually simple and striking, like waking up in the middle of the night and realizing that the way you've been doing things and the reason you've been having problems is because you're doing something really, really stupid. Don't do stupid stuff. I've been creating a new piece to go down here on this one. You can see that's totally useless. And what I'm hoping is that the inside of the door on the driver's side is formed pretty close to the same shape as the inside of the door on the passenger side. Theoretically, yeah, they should be, but you never know. So what I've done is tried to make this so that it lines up all the way around like so and fits that same shape. And now what I've got to do is I've got to cut out the flat pieces that need to go down here that this all joins into. So those can be oversized, but I've still got to come up with flat pieces. I don't think I've got anything that long just hanging around any place. I got several pieces I can scab together, but I think I want to have one solid flat piece. What I might do, I might use one piece to come down this way and then a solid one over and across. So those three pieces will go like that. We'll get them welded together into one single piece, and then we'll have to weld this piece onto it and then trim out the excess from the inside. Need to make sure that this piece fits. So I got to be able to fit that down on a flat piece like this and have it come out to fit this fine. Looks suspiciously like I bent that the wrong way. I bent that the wrong way. Well, now we're getting nowhere. So I got to cut another piece like this because I'm going to have to do the same thing for the bottom of the other door. That was stupid. I suppose I could fit this piece in there. Not going to take a whole lot to make that change. It's just like clay, folks. Just like modeling clay. Reach down and swat that like button, pop in a quick comment, and subscribe to this channel. You can help save Lazarus from the scrap bin by making a one-time donation via PayPal or join as a member on Patreon. See the links below. Let's see how it looks on this piece. Go like that. I think we've got it. That's pretty damn close right there. Tack them together, TIG weld them together, hammer them down, make sure they're flat, grind them all so you can't see any of the where the welds were. That should do it. I've welded these 4 pieces of metal together. I did it with TIG. I still need to grind and polish it all up, but it didn't turn out as nasty warped as I expected it would. So with a little bit of grinding, dollying, I'm sure that that's going to turn out to be a fine piece of work. And as you can see, it's plenty big enough. Plenty big enough for what we need. We'll go something like this. So, oh yeah, definitely got enough biggestness here to do what we need to do. So, next step, polish it, grind it up, dolly it out flat, and polish it up. I need to make sure that I have this edge right for when I start to weld this onto that piece of metal. The problem I've got is this is rusted out so bad that I can't really get a good shape off of it. So what I've done is I've slid a piece of poster board in here, traced around its edge with a marker to create this. I'll cut this out, and then I will, if necessary, do any little fine trimming and everything to make sure it fits the other door properly. And hopefully we'll get a pattern that will work good for this that I can then use when welding this piece to this piece. So let me cut that out and see where we get to. Now I know by running a straight edge along the bottom of this piece that this should be straight from one edge to the other. There's actually maybe a 32nd of an inch where it bends up in like that, but I'm not going to worry about that. And when I drew my line here, I ended up with a little bit of a bow on it. So I'm going to use this piece of aluminum extrusion, cut that off. Now, how do I know that aluminum extrusion is straight? Because when they make these things, they grab each end and they pull it. And the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So point A, point B, pull, straight line. Trust me. Now, this bottom here bows up in, but This bottom lip here along this edge does not, which tells me that when they were putting this in, for some reason they bowed this up in the middle. My suspicion would be that they may have done that to make the water drain out to these holes on each end. But there's really not a whole hell of a lot of. I suppose what I can do is just put a little bit of bend in it when I put it together. The other thing that tells me is I got to drill 2 holes. I got to drill a hole here and I drill a hole here into this piece. But I'm going to wait until that's all welded together to do that. Because if I try doing it right now, it's going to be a problem. It'll be a lot easier to drill those 2 holes when it's on the door. That piece actually has a bit of natural curve in it already. All right. So I've been working on the bottom of this door for a couple of days, welding these pieces together and trying to fit it into the door and welding across here and having all sorts of problems. And I woke up in the middle of the night and suddenly realized, hey, dumbass, you're doing this wrong. That's not the way that Fitzy would have done it. And my brain ticked over a couple of times, and I realized this is trash. Now it's an interesting exercise in learning what not to do and why not to do it that way, but this is going into garbage. Into the recycle bin. And what I've been working on now is this. And you'll notice that where this was 2 pieces and welded before, it's now 1 piece with a bend in it. Lo and behold, it fits pretty good. It's a little over 21 inches long. 2 more pieces on this end, 1 here in the corner, 1 coming around here. That's all welded in pretty good. I'll have a little bit of cleaning up of the joints here. But I don't have this humongous long mess here, and I also don't have a whole lot of wibbly-wobbly like I was having. And as far as this corner goes, I've got that piece, and I've got that piece, which will go in there. And that'll all weld together really nicely. And what I've been able to do was, this has got a very slight curve in it this way. Fits gorgeously onto this piece here. This has got the extra width here and comes down to the skinniness here. Just a tiny, tiny bit of tweaking to get that right. That can all be welded in now. And once that's done, all I've got to do is dress this off. I'll have to make the thin strips to go along here. And then I can trim this all off, put another thin strip along here, and then weld the seam on the edge. And you notice that right there, I don't know, maybe you can't see that. Let me turn on the light. That edge right there fits almost perfectly. Before, that wasn't even coming close. I spent close to 2.5 days, 2.5 days working on just that one piece. This I got done in a few hours. Had a little bit of problem getting the right angle in this because the bending brake I have isn't really a very good one. I ended up tuning it up by pounding it over a piece of the edge of a C-channel to get the corner right. I probably could have just built the whole damn thing by clamping that piece of metal down to the C-channel and then forming it over a little bit at a time and gotten it done just as quickly. So I'm now at the point of welding this piece in, welding this piece in, and then finish doing the welds across here. I might try doing that with TIG instead of doing it with a whole shitload of little spots with the MIG unit, simply because I think it might leave me a hell of a lot less grinding to do if I do it that way. As you can see on this corner, I'm getting real good at just getting little light taps with the MIG unit to fill in spots and get them to fill up at where holes have burned through and stuff, because this was extremely thin in here and burned through real bad. Okay, I have gone through and TIG welded all of this up and TIG welded this corner up. And I have to say, it looks a hell of a lot better than if I'd done it with MIG. This should grind down fairly good. The inside of this corner was done with MIG, this was done with MIG, this was done with MIG, this was done with MIG, that was done with MIG right there. This was tacked with MIG and then welded all the way around with TIG. Now you little bastard. This right here was tacked with MIG, welded with TIG. This was, I don't even know if I guess I did tack this with MIG. So when I welded this, I had to crank it up to about 75 amps because 40 would just, hell, it wasn't even hardly melting anything between these two pieces of steel here. So I still don't know as I got it high enough, and I don't know as I fed filler in fast enough. I might have got a little bit of cratering on the edges there, but you know what? It is what it is. It's all going to grind down. Okay, I have gone around and welded up the edge of the door. One of the things that I did, maybe you can see it in this corner right here, I cut flat strips to go the inside so it looked like the original here. And then I've gone through, tack welded that down in a few spots, and then edge welded the whole edge of this thing. And then I came in on these corners right there, and right there. I've brazed that just like it was on the original car. So now I've got to grind all those welds off. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try using a belt sander to grind off most of this because I want this as straight as possible, and I think I can get that better using my small belt sander than I can trying to use a 3-inch disc or a 5-inch grinder disc or something like that. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Well, folks, there it is. All ground down and primed. There's the bottom of it, all repaired. There's even the 2 drain holes put into it. Hopefully you can see them. Repaired the inside around in here. I was getting cracks here and here, so I put 2 L brackets in, welded those in to stiffen this up so it won't crack. This was fixed down here. Glued my fingers to it because the paint's still wet. But quite frankly, I'm rather pleased with the way it came out. Now, there is still a divot right in here that I didn't notice. Probably a little bit right in here, but this big dent right here came out pretty good. So I think I can work this spot down here out probably. And I hope that I've got the bottom the right length. I may have to trim that off a little bit. I don't know. We'll find out when it all goes back together. But all in all, I'm pretty pleased with it. It definitely looks a hell of a lot better than it used to. I'll try to remember to throw a picture up of what it used to look like. This inside primer for yeah, let me twist it around. The primer in this area here is actually not primer, it is cold galvanized spray. I sprayed everything way up inside as much as I could, just literally soaked it with that stuff in hopes that that will keep it from rusting in the future. I ground off a lot of the crud. I didn't grind everything off perfectly. These edges around here still need to be cleaned up, but my goal was to get the old crap off as much as I could, get some primer on there so that it wouldn't rust between now and when I get to finally work on the damn thing to get it ready for paint, because there's just a tremendous amount of work that still needs to be done. So that is going to wrap it up for this week. I don't know if I'll put out a video next week or not. Next week is the week of Christmas. You folks have a fantastic Christmas. If you don't hear from me, have a fantastic New Year's. Stay safe, stay relatively sober. You know, don't get yourself in trouble, folks. And like, share, comment, subscribe. Click down there and hit the notification bell so that you get notified when these videos come out. And what else is there to say? It's been kind of a slow year and a half. Has it been a year and a half? Wow, it's 70-some episodes. So that's not quite a year and a half, I guess. I don't know how many a year and a half would be, but we've got quite a few episodes out there. One a week, 79. This is going to be 80, I think. So 80 weeks worth of episodes. Hope you've learned some useful stuff. Hope you've learned not to do some really stupid stuff that I've done. But part of learning is every now and then you make a mistake and have to recover from it. I made some mistakes on this, and I think I will add this piece here up to my wall of shame once I get it started. I got a lot of stuff to put up on the wall of shame. I may not have a big enough garage for a wall of shame. But anyways, let this be a reminder to don't do stupid stuff, because that's what I started out doing there. And this in here certainly looks a hell of a lot better. This actually looks pretty much like a factory fresh door bottom. So I'm pleased, folks. Again, have a blessed life. Have a blessed day. Have a fantastic Christmas. If you don't hear from me, have a fantastic New Year's. Stay safe. If you're up north, stay warm. If you're down south, when the cold hits, stay warm. Be nice to people. And we will see you either next week or next year. I don't know yet. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if I'll have time to pump out a video or not. I want to try to. I want to try to get one of these out every week. I'm kind of reaching the point where it's almost, going to take 2 weeks to get 1 week's worth of content. So I may have to switch over and do one every 2 weeks. And there's a lot of other people out there doing that. If you want to help support the channel, there's a link down below where you can make a one-time donation or recurring donation through PayPal. Buy me a cup of coffee on there if you want. For I think it's $4 a month. You can join over on Patreon. The link's down below again. And Patreon, that helps. Even the small amount helps, folks. So it helps me know that people appreciate what I'm doing. So that's it for now. BugeyeBob, over and out.